So, my name is Mike Pucciarelli, and tonight I'll be talking about how transform or redevelop some of my photography tools. And this is being recorded. And so tonight, that's how to redevelop or re-engineer some of your photography tools that you can use. So, the big white cards, you can, cut them, you can fold them, you can create a nice, cool background. And the reason why I fold them is because you could have soft light on food, or you could just have soft light on anything. So, white cards can be used and transformed in many ways. And then there are big black cards. They're great for, a dark background. They're also great for taking out too much light. And you can fold them, you can make it smaller, you can cut them. And black cards, they could control unwanted glares in, product photography. And you can buy this at our, Plaza Art Store or online. And the same thing with the, there's a better foam cards. I recommend the 1/8 inch or the, 1/4 inch thick. Now, this is what my, the Scrims used to look like, but now I made it bigger. So this is the original, and this is what they now look like. And these are, 6-foot scrims. They're great for softening light. You can just rest them on a table. You can rest them on a strobe. And I made it bigger so they can cover the whole 4-foot table. And you can buy this stretching paper that's stapled on the wood at any art store. And these are great. You can just leave it on a table. You don't need stands. This is great for like a wide set of objects, not just a solo object. Now, from time to time, I develop new scrims from old ones. And this is just a picture frame, but these are just stretcher art frames. And I created several new stretcher art frames because I had extra stretcher art frames. Scrims can come in all sizes, so I never throw away a scrim. So I like to redevelop things to make it better, bigger and better, or more, usable. You can also use colorful gels on the scrim to get the color you like. Now these are my big B's or V's, black rounds. This is what it originally looked like. Now they're even bigger and they're taller. So I did this so that it would cover the door better. This is great for adding a background, adding a cool, dark background. You can also make the room really dark with these. Now this is the floor rack. This is what it originally looked like, but now I transformed it. I made it into this so that it's easier to store. You just have the rest of the legs of the table. You can use these legs or you can use the side legs. And this, it's easier to store and it's more flexible. And because I used to use this, and now I use this. So all you have to do is rest the light, and you can just rest the thing on the legs of the table. And this is great for, firing, holding a light and firing up or angling the light. And it'd be like a white plexiglass sheet where the light would shine right through. Now, this is a homemade rack. It's still a homemade rack, but I took out these studs to make it fit better. I also made it shorter so it fit better on the wall. But I still use this. I still use this to hold all my silver reflectors. but I just made it smaller so I could store it better. And still has the wood, screwed on. It still has, the holes for, to create a background. So in many ways I could use this rack, but I'm just using it to store things for right now. And these are stools where they used to be chairs, where you used to have like a support for the back, but the backs started to wear out, so I sawed it off. And these are nice. This is like a nice high stool. This is like a nice low stool. You can use this as a table. Use this as a low table. You can do the same thing with these office stools. They used to have like an arm for the back, but I tried to fix these many times, but I decided just to throw away the back support, and these are just plain stools. So when you have like a chair, you might want to take it apart, take away, turn it into a stool. Now I did this many times. I have more stuff than here where I would, take apart this to make it fit better, and I created other, still life tables. I used to have a piece of furniture I made from pure wood, but I decided to redo that, and it made another still table. So I redesigned, re-engineered several still tables to help me do my job as a still life photographer. I have several of these small things to hold jewelry, and I also have other, tables. And these are just, L brackets with wood screws, and they're very firm, very secure. This is a Go axe where this is like white, wax paper. This will make the light even bigger when you use it. And this is great for painting in extremely dark backgrounds, like painting a car. And then I have another one without it, and you could make the light more narrow. You could also use this on a stand or a pole that has the 3/8 stud measurements. So this light, this Kodak lighting stick or the lighting wand, it's great for light painting something big. And I would recommend using paper to make the light even bigger and smoother. You can use it with your hands. You can also use it as stands. There's a flexible range of Kelvin temperatures, and you can light paint for many hours on a full battery. But you want to keep your eyes on the batteries, because if there's no electricity, battery runs out, then you can't, light paint or use it. You know, a lot of cool stuff with, the barn doors. This is another LED light where, you know, when I first bought this, it came with 2 batteries and 2 battery chargers. And it's recommended that you buy like a dual battery charger, so you charge both batteries at the same time. It will last longer, be more effective. And I want to warn you, this light will suck up electricity very fast. I was light painting a motorcycle, and the light stopped because it sucked out all the electricity in the batteries. But then I recharge it, and then it works. Now, I never use the remote, but you could just turn it on and off. You first have to turn on the light, and then you use this. But a lot of times I just use it with a hand or with a pole. And there's many kinds of plugs. You could use it with the batteries. You could also use it with a plug or a car charger. Comes with a case. It comes with 2 batteries, but you have to buy the dual battery charger separately. So it has a coloring rendering index of 95. That's like saying the colors are 95% accurate. That's a good feature to have on a LED light. And you have a Kelvin temperature range between 1300 and 5500 K. And ways you could use this, you don't have to use the batteries, you use the wires. But if you use the wire, then you have to have a plug. I'd recommend that you just charge the batteries so you don't have to worry about the wires. I recommend the dual battery charger. And I would recommend that much more than the single battery charger. Now these are um, filters for a LED flashlight. And you could fit this with any, LED flashlight as long as it fits this diameter. And they're black so they don't, have stray light. And the screws are black. Goes with a spare screw, but so you would just screw this on the flashlight. And then you would just, you just have this on here. But this will hold on to the, LED flashlight. I'd recommend that you measure all your LED flashlights, the diameter, and you just buy the corresponding diameter. It can be bigger, but as long as it covers the light, so when you light paint or, when you use the light, use them more in a controlled fashion. Of course, you want to make sure that the lights work. You shoot with a full battery. Have extra batteries, have extra light. And light painting, is another whole nother topic, but this is what it's partly about, using the LED light with the filter. Now these are homemade filters where these are PCV pipes. This is duct tape, and then you use black tough mold tape so that you don't have stray light in the photograph. And these are good as long as the flashlight will fit inside. It will do a nice job helping you control the light when you light paint. These are just PVC pipes in the plumbing section of any hardware store. This will help you with, when you want to use the image in Photoshop or just making the, copied image when you paste it look better so you have a controlled image to work with and you have a less chance of overexposure. Now this is a hacksaw. This is used to make a filter. This hacksaw will cut through anything. It will cut through any metal pipe. I've had this for years. I've had several. And then, maybe I recommend you buying an extra blade if the blade does become dull, but I still use the same blade, but this hacksaw, it really helped cut through anything. And I use the hacksaw to cut, the PCV pipe at, a 45-degree angle. And then I'd use a sand block to sand off the rough edges. And I would connect it with, duct tape, and I would cover it with the black duct tape so you don't have stray light in the photograph. You can buy this, hacksaw at any hardware store. They have Ace store in Chincoteague, they have Home Depot, they have Lowe's. So any major hardware store, you can buy all this stuff. So with the LED lights look, with the filters on, the light's a lot less harsh. And then with no filters, see how harsh the light is when you just remove the filter. That's why you want to use a filter with the LED light when you light paint. Now, I now mostly use RF lenses. I used to own two EF lenses, the EF 7200, also the EF 100 to 400. I decided to trade that in for cash to buy this bottom lens, the RF 7000. This is a really great lens, and it comes with a nice hood. It's a good lens. And these are my prime lenses, the 600 to 800. You can only use aperture 11. Now, if I use the EF, I have to use a converter. I'll talk about that soon. If I use the RF, I don't use a converter. Sometimes, the 50, I didn't want to trade this in because I could turn this into a macro lens with a macro filter. And still have my 35, but I have to use a converter because of the EF. But I find all my prime lenses really valuable, so I didn't want to I wanted to keep all them. And this is the converter. This is what I was talking about. The converter will help attach the EF lens to the mirrorless camera. If you're using an RF lens, you wouldn't have to use this. But these are great. These are great for making value of EF lenses in the mirrorless cameras. I have YouTube on this. Also have YouTube in the R6. And, get what you're comfortable. I like the R5, R6. Now, these are my 7Ds. I'm still going to use these. I'm thinking about sending one over to lifepixel.com. The store's in Seattle. And I think I'll just, let's see if I can copy. Well, it's lifepixel.com. And they got a lot of information there, how to send your stuff. And they have different things they can do the camera. This is to make a camera into an IRED, infrared camera. Let me use the other as a backup, and the 7D can still use the old new Canon batteries, so the batteries are still valuable too. But this camera only accepts one card at a time. Like these, you could use, two cards at the same time, but this can only use a compact flash. But you have an old camera, you might want to think about, turning it into an infrared camera, where my Pixel is one store that can do it. You just have to send it across the country, but there could be other stores. These are my Facebook groups. Some are run by myself, from with other people. And now what I'm going to do, I'm going to pause my screen. I'm going to go, let's see, I'll bring up my site. Where I sell fine art. I do a lot of still life. But my YouTube channel is here. That's where I'll start this recording. And this YouTube channel, I have playlists for landscape, equipments, light painting, black plexiglass, Adobe software, and also white plexiglass. And then I have ebooks where I have a book on light painting. It's an ebook. They're full of diagrams and information and camera settings and, the actions I use. I have a camera on the black plexi table, same idea. We have diagrams, we have camera settings information. But over 80 pages, 7 chapters, and then another white plexi table, 80 pages, but there's a lot of good information in there. This is the big book where it talks about all of them, but these are all, with e-Kindle. So I do, a lot of still life. I do nature and architect, black and white. So let me check the chat. I don't see any questions. So now I want to just raise the floor for any questions. You can type in the chat, you can just speak out. Okay. And I also have my, let's see, I also have Instagram, but all right. So it looks like no one has any questions. I'll stop the recording.